Welcome back, my friends, to the Chosen's Blended Harmony of the Gospel. We are on day 10, part 3, A Centurion's Servant is Healed. I love this story. A centurion's servant is healed. A centurion's servant, who was highly valued by him, was sick, paralyzed, in terrible agony, and about to die. When the centurion heard about Jesus, he sent some Jewish elders to him, requesting him to come and save the life of his servant. When they reached Jesus, they pleaded with him earnestly, saying, "He is worthy for you to grant this, because he loves our nation and has built us a synagogue." So that right there is interesting, right? A Roman person who was beloved by the Jewish community because he built them a synagogue. So he already is seeing, these Jewish people, they're on to something, and he wants to know more about this Savior, and he believes that Jesus can heal. I just love this story. Jesus went with them. And when he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to tell him, "Lord, don't trouble yourself, since I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. This is why I didn't even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I too am a man placed under authority, having soldiers under my command. I say to this one, 'Go,' and he goes, and to another, 'Come,' and he comes, and to my servant, 'Do this,' and he does it." Hearing this, Jesus was amazed and said to those following him, "Truly I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with so great a faith. I tell you that many will come from east and west to share the banquet with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be thrown into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Then Jesus told the centurion, "Go, as you have believed, let it be done for you." And his servant was healed that very moment. When those who had been sent returned to the house, they found the servant in good health. I just love that story. So exciting. Let's move on to another great story. A widow's son is raised to life. Afterward, he was on his way to a town called Nain. His disciples and a large crowd were traveling with him. Just as he neared the gate of the town, a dead man was being carried out. He was his mother's only son, and she was a widow. Meaning, of course, her husband had already died, and now she had one son, and he died. A large crowd from the town was also with her. When the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her and said, "Do not weep." Then he came up and touched the open coffin, and the pallbearers stopped. And he said, "Young man, I tell you, get up." The dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Then fear came over everyone, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has risen among us, and God has visited his people." This report about him went out through Judea and all the vicinity. I mean, I just love it when he does miracles, right? It's so exciting. But with the centurion, this is so exciting to me because, the Romans and the Jews were always in conflict with each other, right? They hated each other. And so obviously this centurion had been very kind to the people in his community, and he built them a synagogue. And so the Jewish people loved him. And so the people there were excited to be helping him. When he was in need, they were like, well, you know what? We have our rabbi, our Jesus, and he heals people. And he had heard about him. And so it's so exciting that he decided, you know what? I want you to go and bring him back, and I'm going to believe that he can save my servant. And he had faith even though he was a Roman. And that just shows that God's love, it can just penetrate even the hard hearts of the Roman people. And I just really just love so many things about this story. And it says, "Lord, don't trouble yourself. I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. This is why I didn't even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed." And so, as a Roman, he could have commanded and demanded that Jesus came, right? Because he's in charge. A centurion is in charge of 100 men. And he knew that Jesus also had authority, and that Jesus could say things and that things would happen. Just like the centurion would say things and people would go and act on that behalf of him. So, but he just said, though, "Lord, I want you to come, but I'm not even worthy." He knew his place. He knew Jesus was the Son of God. And he knew that even though he could power over him and force him to come and try to make his servant well, that he just very humbly came and said, "Lord, I'm not even worthy of your time or have you worthy coming in even to my house, but just say the word." What faith did this man have? And Jesus rewarded him by saying, "I've never seen such faith in all of Israel," which probably made the disciples feel pretty bad, right? Here's this Roman person that's out faithing them at this point. But it just shows that when people really believe and Jesus comes into your heart, that you just have such great faith that you believe that God can do things, and he acted on that. And then we have the woman in Nain. I mean, how sad. She already was a widow. She had lost her husband. We don't know how or why. But then her son dies. She only has one son, and he dies too. And so, of course, she must have just been completely overcome with grief. And here goes the wedding procession. They're heading out of town there. And here comes Jesus, and he says, stop. And he lays his hand on the coffin, and he opens it up, and he asks the man to rise, and the son rises, and he gives the son back to his mother. I mean, what a glorious day for her. And it says the people were kind of fearful, but also glorifying him. I mean, it is a little scary what he's doing at this point, but just how amazing for the people to realize he is the Son of God, and he has God's power within him. And I'm just so glad that with these two stories, I mean, God stopped and cared enough for a servant. I mean, a Roman's servant. I mean, why would he really care about that? The Romans are persecuting the Jews, right? But Jesus does care about people. And then this sweet woman who had already been through so much pain, what a great day for her to get her son back. So I just love that Jesus stops what he's doing and cares for people. That is a true leader. So I hope you're encouraged by these stories, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow. You can get your own copy of A Blended Harmony of the Gospels by The Chosen simply by going to thechosengifts.com. There you can find all kinds of wonderful merchandise to help build your faith this year. Be sure to check out their devotionals and their Bible studies. Have a blessed day.